Hey guys! AYEARATHON has officially begun as it is now midnight. I just finished watching the new Game of Thrones. I have a lot of feelings about it. I'm gonna try to keep it together. But I am going to stay up right now and I'm going to start reading my first book for AYEARATHON, and that is going to be Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. I decided for my books I have one for every letter in LGBTQIA except Q. Queer. I'm just going to include that for everything. So I've decided I'm going to go in reverse order, and I'm starting with A down at the end for asexual. So I'm very excited. I'm going to read this for a bit now and go to sleep, and then I will check in tomorrow and let you know all of my exciting plans. Hey guys, I figured now was as good a time as any to check in. I've been kind of busy so far today, so I had too much to do to check in before 2 p.m. I did start Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. I'm on about page 115. I don't even have the words to explain how beautiful this book has been so far and how much I'm absolutely loving it. I'm so sad this is a library book because there are so many lines I've wanted to mark and to remember and to put little post-it tabs by. It's breaking my heart a little bit. But, at a doctor's appointment this morning. I worked for like an hour at my mom's office because I work part-time there sometimes. But today, I don't have much left to do, so I'm going to go film my monthly recommendations video, which you will have already seen by the time you watch this. And then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to finish this book because I have like 50 pages left and it's so good. Okay, so I have to talk because I finished Every Heart a Doorway a few hours ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about it yet because it was absolutely incredible. I absolutely loved it. It had so many beautiful story elements. It was just beautiful. Like, that's the word I keep using to describe it because I just found it to be beautiful in general. It was such a captivating story with such like beautifully captivating characters, and it was so interesting because, you know, it talked about the lead character being asexual, and it like actually went into it. It used the word asexual, it was on the page, which is awesome, but it also talked about gender expression and expectation, which was really cool because there were these two girls who'd had such like specific gender expectations put on them that one of them was supposed to be the smart one and the other one was the pretty one, and how that affected them. It was brilliant. It talked about so many beautiful things besides being an amazing fantasy story, and I'm furious that I don't own my own copy because there were so many passages that I wanted to mark with a post-it note that I thought were beautiful. So overall, clearly I love that book. I'm a huge fan. I think I gave it like 4.5 stars because it like dragged a little bit in the middle, but I thought it was beautiful. So I did start reading Alex as well, which goes next on my list with I for intersex. I haven't read that much yet. I'm on page 28, but I think it's going to go really quickly. The narrator is very strange, and I don't know how I feel about yet. It's very weird. But I'm going to jump right into this, and I'm going to go to sleep, and tomorrow I have a job interview. So I'm hoping that goes well. I feel like I'm jinxing it to put it in here, but hey, I get to edit this later, so maybe I'll just cut this bit out if I don't get the job. So I have like an hour and a half left of today, and I'm gonna read as much of this book as I can, so I hit my 250 page per day goal. Okay, I finished my second book, so I thought I would check in. I just barely, just closed the cover for Alex as well by Alyssa Brugman. It was a very strange book. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I haven't given it a rating or really considered because I thought the voice was so weird. I kind of want to read up a little bit more about why the author decided to write about an intersex person and what kind of research went into that, because I just want to know more about where she's coming from with this character. I'm just curious. But I didn't love it. So that's kind of disappointing. But I am going to start in on my next book now, which is behind me. So the next book that I'm going to begin reading is If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. That is T for trans, which is where I'm at right now. And I'm very excited about this. So I'm going to read a little bit of this, and then I have that job interview, which is terrifying. So I just have to say, I'm beyond pleased with how this readathon is going so far. Everything is it's just going really smoothly so far. I think that's, like, unfair of me to say on day 2, but I'm just barely getting in. My third book finished on day 2, which makes me very pleased. So yes, I did just barely finish If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. I wound up giving it a 4-star review. I think that it had, like, things about it that I didn't like, but the thing that I got out of it the most was that it felt so important. It felt like such an important story that I was reading, and the fact that it exists in the first place, and that I was being able to read a trans story written by a trans woman it felt so important. So even though there were things about it that made it like, it had some contemporary cliches, it felt like such an important book, and I really, really appreciated it. So I'm very glad about that. And it means I finished 3 of my books in 2 days. Like, I know that I read my 3 shortest books at the very beginning, so maybe that's cheating, but I have 3 books left in 5 days, which is doing a lot better than I thought. So I've just got Far From You to start next. Like I said I was going in reverse order, so I had AI and then Q for queer questioning, which, like I said, I'm counting a couple of these books under queer questioning because there are questioning characters, and so I'm kind of including that under everything. But then I checked off T for trans, and now I'm on B for bisexual. So moving along very, very nicely. And I don't know how much of this I'm going to start reading tonight because I got a ton read today, and I don't really need to sit down and read a bunch more of this tonight to, like, fit in with my schedule. So maybe I'll just watch some BookTube because I'm very behind on BookTube. So I haven't checked in all day because I haven't done a whole lot of reading today. As it turns out, I allowed myself to get so far ahead that I thought I was all set, so I didn't do any reading, and so now I'm no longer ahead. I'm exactly on track. Except that I'm not, because I'm just realized I'm not going to be able to read this weekend, so it's whatever. I read about 70 pages of Far From You, which, like I said, puts me on track for how many pages I'm supposed to read every day. It's very interesting. It's kind of surprised me so far, and it seems like it's going to be a very, very fast-paced read, and I'm very excited about it. But I'm not excited because I have to wake up early tomorrow morning and have my wisdom teeth removed. So yeah, I will check in tomorrow, but it's possible I won't be looking my best because I'm having teeth removed, which is super exciting. So I guess the next time you see me, that will have happened, and hopefully I will have read more of Far From You. Don't I look sexy with the chubby cheeks? Isn't this a great look for me? I read nothing today, just so you know. I'm checking in to tell you that. I'm on page 120 of my book. I just watched Gilmore Girls all day. I haven't done anything. It took them 6 hours to take out my wisdom teeth. I'm sad. I'm going to go to bed now. Okay. You guys are really seeing me at my top notch this week. I don't know why I didn't consider the fact I was getting my wisdom teeth taken out this week to mean that I was just gonna have a swollen face, not read very much. I don't know. Anyway, I did want to let you know that I finished reading Far From You. It took me a long time. I've kind of been sleeping all day. But I finished Far From You. I didn't love it. I just kept comparing it to Black Iris, which is a book I didn't like at all. And I just had a lot of problems with it in general, which makes me super sad. So I did not like that. I'm hovering around a potential 3 stars for that book. Which means the next book that I'm going to be starting is The Culling. And this is, going backwards, G for gay. So, going to be starting this one. This is the longest book that I'm supposed to read for this readathon. And as I'm sure you can still tell, I'm not feeling fantastic. But I'm going to try. I have, however, accomplished over this reading week a ridiculous amount of Gilmore Girls watching. And you know what? I'm going to choose to be proud of that. So, I'm going to go lay down again now. The face remains swollen, which is super exciting. I've actually gotten more reading done today than I have the past couple of days. I'm on page 210 of The Culling, which means I have 200 pages left of this, and I have 200 pages of my other book to read. So I'm not sure if they're both going to happen, but I'm going to push through it. I'm not currently really enjoying The Culling. I don't know, it's just kind of feeling like a lot of other dystopians I've read. So we'll see how that goes, but hopefully I'll be able to finish up at least another 100 pages of this today, and hopefully I'll be able to read at least a little bit of Ash tomorrow. And hopefully someday my face will stop hurting and I'll stop sounding silly because I think I sound silly right now. And maybe someday I'll put on makeup again. That would also be good. I just feel like I've done nothing but look terrible for a week for you guys, so I hope you appreciate that I'm putting this on the internet. Hey, so I just wanted to check in and let you know that I did just barely finish reading The Culling. So I actually might finish all my books because I just have Ash left. I really didn't think I was going to with how far I got behind, but it's like 2:30? Is it 2:30? So I have plenty of time to finish Ash. I have been focusing way too much on social media this morning due to the recent announcements of the Orlando shooting. I've been on Twitter a lot, where most of my outrage has been put, so I've been kind of focused on that, but I've decided that I need to take a step back from the social media and just be able to take a step back from it. I think that that's really important for me right now, so I am going to try to remain off social media for a little bit longer. I might watch an episode of Gilmore Girls or something, and then I'm going to jump into reading Ash, which is my final book of the readathon, and I'm really hoping that I'll be able to get it done. Hey look, I'm alive, kind of. I sort of semi-styled my hair. I did like half my makeup. I'm counting that as alive. So I just want to do a quick wrap-up for this entire readathon because I finished it. So I'm going to tell you what I read and what I rated stuff. So as I said, I read things in reverse order. I had a book for almost every letter in LGBTQIA+, and I finished 5 of my total books. So I went in reverse order in terms of the acronym, and I started with A for asexual, and I read Every Heart a Doorway. This was an absolutely incredible fantasy book that I wound up giving a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was weird because even though this is a bit short, it lagged a tiny bit in the middle, but I'm furious that I don't actually own this because I loved it. Next up, I did I for Intersex, and I read Alex as well by Alyssa Brugman. I don't think I told you my rating when I finished reading this book, but I wound up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't really like the way the story was told, and then I did some research on the author for how much research she did for this book, and I really wasn't pleased with a lot of her answers for her interviews regarding this book, and I just feel like the amount of research that should have gone into this didn't. That's just the impression I got, and some of her answers made me feel really not happy with the way that she wrote this book in general. So yeah, I didn't enjoy it. I did give it 2 out of 5 stars, which is super upsetting. Next up, I read T for Transgender, and I read If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. I wound up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. It is a YA contemporary, and I thought it was really interesting. I don't think it was perfect, but I think that it was important, and it had a lot of really important things to say, so I did definitely give it 4 out of 5 stars, and I really did enjoy it. After that, B for Bisexual, and I read Far From You by Tess Sharpe, which features a bisexual disabled main character, which is really cool. I don't think I've read any queer books with a disabled queer lead as well, so intersectionality. Unfortunately, I did not like this book. I think it reminded me way too much of Black Iris, which I don't really love, and in general, I just didn't really like it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think it tried too hard. I hate when female-female romances do this thing where it has to be, like, explosive and their love, like, destroys the universe when it can't just be love. So yeah, I didn't love this one and I gave it 3 stars. And the last book that I finished was, we got to G for Gay, and that was The Culling by Stephen Dos Santos. This was a dystopian book that I just finished yesterday, and unfortunately I didn't really love this one either. I had not the best week, which is making me super sad. I wound up giving this book a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It just felt like really cookie cutter dystopian. I could have predicted every turn. I didn't really like the characters. The thing that I really did enjoy about this book is that it was not a world where the plot was like, I can't believe the main character's in love with a man. It was just a world where everyone could love anyone and that was okay. And I really thought that was cool, and I appreciate when dystopian and fantasy books include that because why would it be any different? But unfortunately, I just didn't really love this story and had to give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. And finally, when I got to L for Lesbian, I only read 26 pages of Ash, so I'm not going to tell you how I feel because I have no feelings. I'm really glad that I was able to participate in this particular readathon at this particular time. Yesterday with how much reading I did about Orlando and how much it just upset me. I'm glad that I was reading queer books this week. I'm really pleased that I was reading queer books this week, and I thought since I was already talking about queer books, I would show off a couple of other ones because I have been purchasing a few this month because it is Pride Month, and I just want to show this off because 2 of these that I have, I highly recommend. If you have not yet read Ask the Passengers by A.S. King or Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan, I highly, highly recommend both of them. Ask the Passengers features a lesbian lead character, and Two Boys Kissing features a variety of lead queer characters and lead queer stories, and it is beautiful in general, and both of these books are just amazing, and I'm so glad to own them. And right before I started filming this wrap-up-y portion, this came in the mail, and I know it is another queer book I ordered because that's what I ordered. So I'm going to open this up. I know I haven't read this book yet. I don't know which book it is, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to pop this open real fast. Hey, that actually worked. So the book that just arrived is Becoming Nicole, The Transformation of an American Family by Amy Ellis Nutt. This is nonfiction. It's about a transgender girl and her journey and her identical twin brother. And I really wanted to read more queer nonfiction because I've only read one piece of queer nonfiction ever. So super excited to have this one. And the other book that's on its way that I haven't read yet, but I can't wait to, is Golden Boy by Abigail Tartlin. Alright, sorry, I wanted to use this space to recommend a couple of extra queer books just because I have time. Actually I don't have time, I'm taking up way too much time, but I still wanted to mention them. Thank you guys so much for watching this wrap up. Sorry that it has featured a lot of me with a swollen mouth and looking sad and talking weird, and I'm still talking weird because I can feel my stitch coming loose in the back of my mouth. I hope that you enjoyed watching anyway, and I hope that you appreciated some of my reviews of these books. Even though I didn't finish my last book, I'm still feeling okay. I'm gonna finish it in the next couple of days anyway, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye!